In today's video, we're gonna go over at least 3 important tips for the Magnifica Evo by Delonghi. And actually these tips are really relevant actually for pretty much all the Delonghi Superautomatics and actually to other automatics as well. All right, so the 3 main points we're gonna go over in today's video are, first of all, how do I just make froth milk so I can make a hot cocoa without pulling an espresso shot? The second one is how do I bypass the grinder in case I want to be able to make myself a decaf in the afternoon, for example. And third, people are always asking how hot actually does the milk come out. So we're gonna test all of that today. And we may also run into a couple of other minor tips as well. One of the things I do want to mention right away is use nice, clean, filtered water. I got a filter in here right now. That's important for keeping your machine running well, and it's one of the 2 ingredients with coffee, of course, water and coffee. So make sure you're using good water. Now here's one little tip right away. When you're starting up your machine or shutting it down, it's good to have a reservoir here to catch the water that comes out. It does a cleaning phase every time that you turn it on. So, all right, so we're good to go. And now the machine is also heated up, which is a good thing too. But I'm gonna show you first of all how to make yourself a hot cocoa and how to make steam milk without pulling an espresso shot. So it's very simple. All you have to do is bypass the grinder by choosing this option right here. This means that you would actually put beans in here, but we're not gonna do it. In the end, it's going to give you a fault, but the fault clears out automatically. So I've got my milk canister installed. I got milk in there, and we're just going to choose my latte to get the milk to come out. I'm also going to check the temperature. So 65. 60, fluctuates a bit between 60 and 65. And so now what's happening is it's actually trying to do an extraction here, but since we didn't put anything in here, it's gonna notice that. It's gonna give us a fault with this red triangle message here, but it's gonna automatically clear the fault and we're good to go. And final temperature, 55 degrees. Keep in mind that we keep our fridge at 6 degrees Celsius and it warmed up to 55 in the cup. And now we'll just clean this guy out and be good to go. And before we move on to the next thing, what I will say is I do recommend cleaning this thing out every day. It's easy to take apart. All you have to do is unscrew it like this, clockwise actually. Remove that, remove this guy from there, run everything underwater, and you can also remove this guy like so. Simple. And you see there's still a little bit of residue in there, so I do recommend cleaning it out every day. Otherwise, it's going to become a little bit grody. Okay, and you can also run these parts through the dishwasher. I also do that on a regular basis. All right, but here is the next thing that people ask me all the time. They say, Tom, is it possible to not use the grinder to make a coffee? Can I just put my own pre-ground espresso in there? And I think people are asking because they want to have, let's say, a decaf in the afternoons, or they want to try a different roast bean, and of course you can do that. In fact, I think all super automatics I've ever seen have got this guy here. This little chute flap here, you just move this up and you can put your coffee in there. Just a couple of words of caution. Number 1, you shouldn't overdose. So I've experimented and I've been able to fit up to 15 grams in here at an espresso grind, or maybe just slightly coarser than an espresso grind. Other machines, it may be a bit less than that. And the second thing is you'll notice that some heat wafts up out of here. That's why there's slits here. It wafts up out of there. And so you'll notice that there's actually grounds here. You gotta make sure to brush that out. Every time you put grounds in there, brush it down, because if you don't, And if those grounds stay in there and you get that heat coming up all the time, it's gonna mold and it gets to be disgusting. Okay, but I'm gonna show you how to do it. So let's pretend it's the afternoon. Got some decaf coffee. I've already got 15 grams here, dosed out, and I got a grinder. This is a new grinder from out in. This is the Fino. It's a pretty interesting little guy. You just flip the top open like that. You can dump your beans in. It's pretty cool. And it can grind for espresso for you. Close it back up like that. It does take quite a long time. I think 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. Alrighty, all done. This is a pretty cool grinder. It is kind of staticky, but it's nice and convenient, and that it can come with you, and all you gotta do is charge it up and it will grind for you. So pretty cool. So what we're gonna do is dump this 15 grams in, just right in the chute. Again, it's important to make sure that all the grinds get down in there. Sometimes they get a little stuck. Okay. So now all the grinds are in there. We gotta remember to press here our bypass, and now we can start our espresso. So it didn't grind anything, it just started compacting what we put in there, and now let's see what we get out. All right, so there you see, we got ourselves nice looking espresso. And so what we did right there was just bypass the grinder so that you can make yourself a shot. Now you can put decaf in there, you can put different kind of beans in there. And maybe that is kind of an advantage in and of itself because you're able to get a bigger dose. I find that the Magnifica Evo can only do up to about 12 grams in a dose. And look at the size of that puck right there. That is a thick sucker. So this is a 15 gram dose, and that way you can get a stronger drink. I will say one last thing before going, and that is I always put my grind on the internal grinder at about 3 or 3.5. That works well with the beans I'm using. You want the shot to run about as fast as it was running there before. It shouldn't come out too fast, and it obviously shouldn't dribble or come out too slow. That looks just about right. Experiment with your grind, but what works well for me is somewhere between 3 and 4. And finally, I'd recommend when the machine is off, hey, you see it does a rinse, which is a good thing. I really suggest at least once a week removing the brew group. It's very easy. All you gotta do is remove the water tank, open the flap here, and just push these two red tabs in together and pull out, and then you've got your brew group right there. Then I would rinse it off with water, soak it in water, and just keep your machine clean. I'm gonna link another video up here showing how to keep this clean. It's also a good idea to just kind of brush things out in here, and maybe take a rag and clean it out on the inside as well. You want your investment here to make you tasty coffee for a long time to come. And when it's all clean, all you gotta do is pop it back in, close the flap, put the water back in, good to go. Alrighty guys, thanks very much for watching the video. Until next time, I say happy coffee drinking, happy espresso drinking. Bye now.